So welcome to another midweek Wardy's Waffle Farm update. Just before we get started on what's in this edition, just to alert you that June the 17th, week on Friday, we've got our Summer Agri iFarm Open Day. This is the invitation. You can see what's going on. Please reply to Becky if you'd like to come. And also there's an option after lunch for me to take you around the direct drilling plots, which are a mile up the road from the main farm. We won't be looking at those in the morning. You'll need to sign up and tell Becky that you'd like to come in the afternoon and go around with me. Anyway, this week's update. So look at GB News. I was on with Alastair Stewart week last Sunday. Really good 6 minutes. I think they're very good at highlighting farmers' issues and alerting the public to what problems we've got. So I've just got that clip coming in as well. Also, we're demolishing the farmhouse at the main yard. We started to do that a few months ago and we finished it this last week. We're taking the stuff away, the bricks and the rubble away, making a new track. So I've got that. And also a friend of mine, Simon Hutton, he's managing director and owner of Fineturf and Turf, big turfing company in Lincolnshire. They do Man United, Liverpool, Wembley. They're growing Tottenham's Hotspur's pitch as well near Lincoln. So I went with him to Lincoln City when they were doing Lincoln City's main pitch. So I've got a few minutes looking at that, at how they're stripping the turf off and what they do with when they're renovating a football pitch. So a bit of difference. I think that's about it. Usual update on crops and things around the farm as well. So I'm off to Cornwall now to the Royal Cornwall Show with Forage Aid. Been asked to go down and meet Prince Charles, which we're doing on Friday, tomorrow, and they're all to do with the farm charities, so I'm looking forward to that. I've met him before and he's a great person, he really is. A lot of time for Prince Charles. So without any more from me, this week's update, here we come. We've brought all the feeders in from around the farm with a few more to go. But we're just bringing them in now because the songbirds have got plenty of food out there, and there's some of these need a few repairs doing. You can see there's a hole in that one. That's a squirrel done that, so we need to patch it up, and some of them are there's some loose. Some of these are loose and need straightening out, and these are the ones we've put wheat in for the pheasants and partridges and things. And then that's another one, you've seen that in some of our other videos, that needs a repair doing. There's a hole in it somewhere. There we are, little hole in down there. So we've got some of these to repair, but we have actually got some more to make. The blue barrels we've got some spare barrels up there, so this next summer, autumn, we're going to make some feeders out of those and put those out around the farm instead of these wooden ones, and they'll last a lot longer. But these bucket feeders for the songbirds, they'll be back out in September time in the autumn when the birds are ready for some food. You can see by this little clip here how much they really appreciate it, and the songbirds get used to it, and it's so great just to see them sat on the perches putting their heads in and eating it. And also, of course, you can see here we've got pheasants and other things collect the waste grain underneath that drop out through onto the ground. So not just songbirds, you're feeding everything, which is great.
Foremost, how do you assess, as a guy at the front line of farming, the impact on the world market for grain?
Yeah, good afternoon, Alastair. I think we are in a really very difficult and tricky situation at the moment. And when you start to look at Ukraine and Russia, the two countries there provide around 30% of the world's wheat. So those two figures alone are quite realistic, and you can see the problem we've got. But also we've got, since the invasion and maybe before that, we've got the increase in gas prices and also the fertiliser problem that's meant fertiliser has gone up 400%. So that, coupled with the Ukraine and Russia crisis, is having a massive effect on the production of grain all over the world.
It looks pretty tasty and healthy behind you, a good-looking field there. No, I'm serious. Lovely bright, because I know in my neck of the woods, rain's been a bit of a problem and it's not looking quite as good as that. But you can't accelerate a harvest. You can't turn around and say, grow quicker, we need you more urgently. What have farmers collectively been able to do by way of response in this crisis?
You're quite right. We can't do that because when we plant our crops of wheat, they're invariably planted in September and October, and they're not harvested until the following August. So it's a long growing season. And so to help with that, we actually do have to rely on imports coming into the country. And usually we have French imports of wheat coming in July and August, which helps our plants keep running and helps fulfill our market requirements before our harvest gets started. And And so usually we are importing wheat most years, but we can't speed up the process. And of course, we're not just growing grains on the farm. We have to have a balanced rotation. So my own farm here, we're growing beans, we're growing oats, we're growing sugar beet, milling wheat for making bread, and also feed wheat as well, and sugar beet. So we are growing lots of different crops as well. And we have to do this. Then, of course, we have government policy at the minute that wants to take more land out of production. And this is the big thing. And you've heard me mention this before, Alastair, that government policies are really hindering food production because they want us to take land out of production and put it into planting trees. And to my mind, we have to have a balance of everything. We have to be more self-sufficient. We are only 60% self-sufficient at the moment, and that is dropping at an alarming rate. But the government don't seem to understand or really want to do anything about that.
I was going to ask you that genuinely next, but you've given me a beautiful entree to it, because it just struck me when I was thinking about the conversation I was going to have with people like David Liddington, Christopher Mayer and Mark about the political diplomatic side of it, and I knew I was going to be talking to you and in a moment Nick from the NFU as well. I just wonder the degree to which that might change now, because the penny may have dropped with Boris Johnson, George Eustace and all politicians involved in this area, that suddenly something like Ukraine quite unexpectedly can crop up, and my God, we turn to people like you a bit urgently. Maybe they will have learned a lesson or two.
Well, you'd have thought they would have done, but they haven't, because they are still on this crusade to take land out of production, and they're actually paying farmers, paying us to do it, and they're actually saying that we are self-sufficient in our own grains and that we are no need to worry the invasion of Ukraine will not affect our supply. But the problem we've got at the moment is that is right in some years, but of course every harvest, our harvest tonnage fluctuates, and in harvest 2021 we produced around 14 million tonnes of wheat in the UK, whereas normally we produce about 16 million. And our exports this year, since this last year, have been really, really small, only about 270,000 tonnes, whereas usually when we produce 16 million or 16.5 million tonnes of wheat, which is our normal production tonnage, we'll export in the region of 3.5 million tonnes and still remain self-sufficient. But the problem we've got is, I've mentioned fertiliser already, because the fertiliser prices are so high, we are now looking at, can we actually justify in putting the amount of fertiliser on the crops, and I'm talking about nitrogen here, that we need to make the crops perform and grow, can we actually put the right amount on to get the maximum return from these crops? And at the minute, it's looking very dubious as whether we can do that. And the problem we've got is that we've got two fertiliser production facilities in the UK. One is mothballed and one is running. And that is just ludicrous that the government are not helping to get this other factory going that is currently shut.
Absolutely fascinating stuff. One final quick question. I love chatting to farmers, and I've been chatting to one down in Hampshire not that long ago, and I hadn't realised about the futures market for grain, that you don't, obviously you don't sell it on the day when you've actually cultivated it, but you and people like you will be doing contracts as the year unfolds. So my tough question simply is this: what do prices look like in the medium and longer term?
You are absolutely spot on, Alastair, with the grains. And in my own case, I have sold grain at the minute that's gone out. It was sold 18 months ago. And of course, this next year, this is the problem we've got, is that people might look at the price of grain and say, right, it's £350 a tonne next year. But I've actually got grain going off the farm at £160 a tonne and £180 a tonne. And I'm not the only one. We sell a long, long way in front. We operate on a world market. We can't set the price. We are told what we are paid for our crops. And so you're quite right. A lot of these contracts, a lot of grain that's moving around and out of the country now, that it was signed by contracts probably 2 years ago, and you can't go back on those contracts.
Fascinating stuff. I wish you well, Andrew. Lovely to talk to you again, and thank you very much indeed for what you're doing, and you keep in touch. You're welcome on the programme anytime. Andrew Ward there, farming champion and arable farmer of the year, and perhaps you can understand why listening to him.
Here to support everybody who remembered Len. We're here to make something good out of his memory and talk to each other I'll introduce in a few minutes what's going to happen today, but I'd like to hand over initially to Andy Ward.
It's Sunday, I'm at the Kenilworth showground. They had the Kenilworth show yesterday. I've been asked to come here and talk about mental health and the help that is out there in the farming community, because tragically earlier on this year a young guy, Lenny Eden, took his own life, and it's just tragic when that happens. We are in an industry with huge pressures, huge stresses and strains, but we must remember we are all here to talk to each other. And if someone asks you if you're okay, please do say if you're not okay. We can all hide things, and it's all looks very rosy from the outside, but often it's the other way. So please do highlight that, and just remember it is okay not to be okay. There's a lot of help out there in the farming world with Farming Help. That is the collaboration of charities, between 3 charities, with the Farming Community Network, Addington Fund and Forage Aid, and between the 3 of us we've got every angle covered that you could possibly need for help. So please, if you do need some help, or you know of someone that needs help, please do cry out to us. And the Farming Helpline number is 03000 111 999. So the Fineturf are here busy taking the pitch off at the LNE's R Stadium. Getting it ready for sowing, put some new grass seed on. So I'm with Simon Hutton, who started Fineturf, owner MD, what you like, years ago. When did you start it then? How long ago?
1995. So we set up very much wheelbarrow and shovel, and now we sort of travel the world building pitches.
And then latterly you then went and bought tillers.
Yeah, 12 years ago we bought a 400-acre turf farm just west of Lincoln. We now grow 2,200 acres, which is 10 million square metres, 26 different products. One of those products being a hybrid turf system that we put into Tottenham. We've just won Liverpool, we've just won Wembley. We've got Milton Keynes in June, so there's plenty going on.
We'll just move forward a bit. So, so the pitches you're renovating around the country at the minute, which are the ones you're doing now?
At the moment we're at Manchester United training grounds. We're working on the under-23s. We've got a gang at West Ham on one of the academy sites there, doing exactly the same process as we have here. This is very standard work for this time of year, and we're really just stripping pitches, cleaning them off, reseeding them, nutrient application, and then hand them back to the grounds team for growing.
And of course this time of year, it's when the season's finished, every club wants the pitches doing at the same time.
Yeah.
So
we call it Mad May.
Mad May. So how many will you do in May?
I would think this May it'll be high 60s.
Wow. Yeah. And that's literally all over the country?
All over the country.
Do you go into Scotland?
Not this year, but we have.
Yeah.
And with Brexit, we won't be doing anything in Europe at the moment.
And how are you finding any problem getting hold of materials like gravel or sand or anything? Is that a problem now?
Last year we really struggled with materials and it became quite a headache. This year we've been well organised and we ordered all the materials in January, so we're totally geared up. We have a schedule with the quarries and we know exactly what we're doing. We don't need a repeat of last year.
No. And also, besides tillers and Fineturf, you've also got the machinery company with excavators and things. I've just forgotten the name of that.
Yeah, so we have Lakeland, which complements our business. It's basically everything heavy earthwork, so diggers, dozers, dump trucks, and they totally complement the pitch building, the golf course building, the tennis court building, the race courses, the rugby pitches.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and then you also let you hire those machines out to a mutual friend of ours, like for doing contracting and building houses and things like that when you're not busy.
So when the sports job's quiet, we have a mutual friend that we go and dig attenuation lakes for him on these big sites, or muck shifts. So sort of the winter months when the sports are quieter. I mean, there's not really an off season now, but yeah, that complements things well as.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great. Well, Simon and I have known each other, what, 25 years? A long while.
At least, yeah.
At least, yeah. So thanks. Very interesting and well done.
Thanks, Andrew.
So Simon, last year you had a massive renovation job here where you virtually started again. So if you just explain, if you would, what you did, because you went fairly deep down.
We did. We excavated down to 450 millimetres. Basically just under half a metre was removed from the pitch, which was the old surface, the old growing medium, the old drains, everything was removed. And we completely started again. We cut new drainage channels, pipe and gravel, irrigation pipe put in, and then we put a gravel carpet over the whole footprint of the pitch. And then we put 2 layers of root zone. So the basal sand was 200 millimetres, then the upper root zone, which is an 80-20 sand soil mix, was 100 millimetres, and then we stirred 350 tonnes of 0.9% fibre into that surface to make the whole surface 0.3% fibre concentrate, which is the prescribed amount of fibre necessary to stabilise a pitch.
So really there's no soil in here at all apart from a little bit of the root zone?
20% soil in the upper 100 millimetres of root zone.
Yeah, and that's all. So
but we need that just to hold on to
yeah.
a bit of nutrient. We need it to hold on to some of the moisture, else it would drain like a beach.
Yeah.
And it would be very difficult to keep the moisture levels up and to keep the nutrient levels where they should be.
But on the other hand, that's why the pitch has played so well this year. When we've had bad weather in the winter, the fact is it was renovated completely right down to the base, which allowed it to drain properly.
Yeah, this pitch has never drained like it in 100 years.
No.
It's a totally manufactured sand and root zone that's been put in to meet the drainage capabilities and expectations for winter sports soccer.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. Very impressive. So Simon, what we're doing here?
So Andrew, we're removing the existing grass sward from the pitch. So basically we're removing the sward, the thatch, the slime, back down to the crown of the ryegrass to allow the rejuvenation of the existing grasses, and then we'll add new seed in as well. If we don't do this, by Christmas next year the pitch surface will deteriorate in quality and in drainage. So this is a practice that's done on every pitch every year.
Because when you see some of the turf around the edge, like you say, it looks like it's in good condition, but by Christmas it wouldn't be.
It's performed amazingly well in year 1, better than we ever expected. But this is a process that needs to be carried out annually to ensure pitch quality, sward density and drainage.
When you look at that little area there, just through here, would you do that bit again, just in front of us?
That's a prime example of leaving the crown of the existing plant.
Yeah.
So what will happen next is we will come in with a huge hoover and hoover off any debris, any excess materials, to leave it as clean as possible. That plant will rejuvenate and will introduce new seed.
And you also, last year you put on some fibre, so the fibre you're not removing, it's still staying there.
There'll be a very, very small amount of fibre going with the surface removal, but there's plenty of fibre to keep the stability there for next season. After 3 to 4 seasons, we will add new fibre to freshen the top up, but it generally lasts 3 years.
And when you look just up here, we've got a green patch here. This is one of the sprinkler heads, is it?
Yep, that's a sprinkler head that we've gone round, and we have a pedestrian machine that will take that off and leave the levels as per the rest.
And then when you re-put the new pitch down, you're going to bring a bit of sand in. How much sand will you bring in here?
We're bringing 60 tonnes of sand in. Once we're totally satisfied that the old surface is gone, all the debris cleared off, and we've got a very fresh surface, we'll bring the sand in to tidy up around the edges, bring that level in back up to the curb, and that light dressing of sand, 60 tonnes over 0.7 of a hectare, is minimal.
It's not a lot.
And it will just true up the surface.
Yeah.
Year 1, however well you build the pitch, you get a slight bit of subsidence. When you look across the pitch surface, there's very little, but that 60 tonnes will just true the top up, and then we'll seed into that. And by seeding into it, we'll be keying that sand into the existing material to ensure that there's no root break and we don't dilute the fibre in the top.
Right, yeah, great. see the wheels here, the benefit of this design, not causing any ruts. So this is now the second pass, and you can see that's much better, leaving a lot smoother and cleaner finish. So this is the coral rings, as they call it. This is the top turf that have just taken off the surface. This is all of it off the pitch. So there's a bit of a mixture of sand in there, not an awful lot, but roots and the top turf. Special little trailer, 4 wheels there to make it better for ground compaction, made locally at Sleaford by Bailey Trailers. So that's it, bit of a look at what's happening at the LNER Stadium, Lincoln City's home at the minute, and Fineturf have renovated the pitch. Oh, we've got a loading shovel here, and one of Simon's lorries is taking all the turf away that had just corrowed off, so we'll have a quick look at that. So a couple of bits of machinery here that belongs Fineturf, and that is a seeder. You can just see the disc there, we'll cut in the floor and put the seed at the bottom of the disc down there. Roller obviously to firm it. Then there's another seeder here. This is a dimpled roller here at the front. I'm not quite sure, that's a liquid, maybe putting some treatments of some sort on. And then you've got dimpled roller at the back, you can see there again. So this is also a seeder, but you can mix sand with this, looking at this. Here, a bit of, yeah, there's your seed, bit of root zone. Can go through that. So there's your holes at the bottom, and then that goes round. That's an agitating shaft that will turn around to keep it feeding into the slots down there. You can just see a slot down there. So quite a new machine looking at that. And then obviously the brush can drop down at the back if you want it, just to level it out and just fill in the dimples. So yeah, quite a interesting machine. Just having a drive around some of the crops after the rain, and there's quite a lot of wildlife out on the tracks drying. See these pheasants here looking very wet and ragged. Everywhere at the minute. After the rain, we've had 25 millimetres in the last couple of days. It's Monday morning. Spring beans looking good after the rains this last few days. You can just see actually down that tram line, if I zoom in, it should be clean up there. It should be nice and brown because there's no seed being planted there with the sprayer runs, but you can just see halfway up and further up it's green in the wheeling. That means the herbicide hasn't worked too well. There's only one we can use on beans, and that's Bazagran, and it's never very good. It's been out a long while, but we can't spray glyphosate pre-harvest to this crop because it's for seed, for agri, for other farmers to plant the seed next spring. A variety called Vespa, and the flowers all starting, forming quite nice. Yeah, nice even crop. Yeah, this is only the second year we've had beans for the last 18 years, so these fields haven't had beans for years, so hopefully they'll be all right. Looking nice and even. Some more birds in the distance there, drying off. Got one of the feeders here, just nearby. There is still some wheat in there. Yeah, nice cockbird there. There's a couple of hen birds near him as well. This field is the one that we planted late, about the 28th of November, I think, after sugar beet. So not quite as forward as the others, but ears all just nicely coming. Again, looking a nice even crop. And that variety is Shabras, an older variety, but always performs well for us. I thought this field of wheat was clean that I've just shown you. Just driving a bit further along the lane round the corner, and what have we here? Some black grass. There. Those real thin spindly plants there, bent over. A few more there waving, the lighter green ones. So they'll get pulled in a minute. I would go in and pull those now, actually, but it's wet through, the crop is. You can look at just look at the water on the leaves. And I haven't got any leggings or Wellingtons, and I'll get wet, so I'll remember where those are. In fact, I'll just make a mark on the lane like that, so I know where those black grass are, because I do know from experience that when you see odd plants like that, unless you actually pull them there and then, you actually miss them. There's a few more just there as well. There. So I'll come and pull these when this crop's dry, hopefully later, unless it rains again. Just got a digger arrived. We're going to move the bricks and all the rubble from the house that was demolished the other day. We're going to bring it down here to the farm, and we are extending a farm track at the back here that we'll have a look at in a minute. So we've got this 14-ton digger on hire from a company near me in Lincoln that I know well. £650 a week, but the week is for 40 hours strict, so I don't really know what the rate of that is, whether that's good or not. So we've got 3 buckets with it. So the area that we're going to put this new track in is just round here and down this lane. You'll see we've already dug a little area off there, and that is the soil, sorry, the stone and bricks from the house that we've knocked down. We're bringing it all down here and utilising that, and then I'm going to top it off and put some stone and planings on and extend it. Down at the bottom is where we put that big culvert in back in last October, so we're putting this track in down there to get to that culvert and that bridge, and it'll be a lot better because we do use this occasionally. So that's it for this midweek update. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Please click like and subscribe, and come back with any questions and the bell sound to alert you when I post any videos. And we'll see you next week after I've been down to Cornwall, and also I'm meeting Prince Charles tomorrow and Camilla to do with Forage Aid and the farm charities that we work very closely with. So we'll see you soon.